to another episode of Haunt Talk. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Scare House in Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh. It might not be exactly Pittsburgh, but it's Pittsburgh. It's real close to Pittsburgh. This one actually is. We joked about it in the 100 Acre Manor review that every house nearish at all the Pittsburghs. We're Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
This one actually kind of is. It's in an old, derelict mall. I mean, I think the mall's still functioning, but, I think 90% of the stores are, Scare House owned. It's they have the Scare House, they have an escape room, and now, a pinball machine bar thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember last year when we went, there was a Claire's that was still open across from the Scare House. Well, the Claire's isn't open anymore.
Yeah, well, at least they had a gate on it. But anyways, yep, so we went there. Last time we were there for the actual event was in 2019. And then in 2020, we went for the Christmas event. So it's been a couple of years since we went there, so we wanted to check it out. Also, make sure to check out our reviews of 100 Acre Manor. We've also done Richard's Fright Farm, and we've done Haunted Hills Estates. Most of these places are all within an hour to an hour and a half of each other. Yes. So you can make a whole night of haunted house extravaganza. Just start early if you want to. And prepare to spend all your money on fast passes. Make sure you like the video if you like it. Leave us a comment letting us know what you think of the video and what you think of Scare House if you've been there. Any place else you'd like us to be, or suggestions. We have a new design for our shirts and merch. We have it's for Haunt Talk. Our little pumpkins that flank us. It's a cool they look like they're hand drawn. It says Haunt Talk on the front, it says Haunt Talk on the back in Japanese. Yeah, they're real cool, and you can get in a hoodie, cups, all that kind of stuff. Go ahead and check that out. I'm sure there's something on the screen right now. The links for these things are always in the description of the video. Also, check out our Patreon if you want to help support us. There's different tiers with different rewards. And again, but the main thing is it helps support us. And we also have something called Super Thanks on YouTube now that YouTube has. Basically, it's leaving us a tip, and you get to have a special comment, and you can give us a tip. Just help support the channel because me and Kim spend all the monies. All the monies traveling and going to these haunts. Because we like to, and we like to, give you guys true, honest reviews, not bullshit, to be honest, which some people don't appreciate that, when we're, sometimes brutally honest about places, but we always try and do it with respect and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we want to give you accurate information, and that is important to us. But that being said, as always, it's time to refer to the Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Now we are going to start, as always, with sets and props.
So this place has different themes throughout it. The first one is a haunted house kind of theme. When you actually get to the front of the queue line, you're actually asked by a bride to go find her husband in the house.
It's called Demon Hour, actually.
Demon Hour?
Yeah, that's what...
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Well, the bride asked us to go find her husband, and she gave us a little tiny flashlight, which really didn't do much, but whatever. So we had to walk through this dilapidated house, and yeah, I guess it did kind of get demon-y after a while.
Yeah, it sure did. It doesn't really start off too much that way, but yeah, it does kind of get demon-y. The story didn't really tie much in, not that I could tell, with the bride trying to find her husband that she's been waiting for 500 or maybe 5,000 years. She can't remember. Yeah, they give you the flashlight, but the house is lit enough where you don't need, it is dark. The flashlight doesn't do much because there is enough lighting to see. Yeah. So I don't really understand why there's a flashlight. It didn't seem to interact with anything.
I don't know, because, yeah, I remember they gave it to us before.
And I'm pretty sure that the flashlight was supposed to, before at least, activate certain things. I'm pretty sure they told us to shine it all around because the light, might make things come to life or something.
Yeah.
We didn't get that there. Just here's a flashlight. I don't think it activated anything.
No, I mean, I waved it around a couple times, but it didn't really do anything.
Yeah, you think maybe it would be a blacklight flashlight, so maybe there'd be secret writing you could find.
Yeah.
But it didn't really seem to do that, so I don't really understand what the whole flashlight thing was. But there were some pretty cool sets and props. One of the ones you see right away is you walk in and there is a bed with what looks like a person laying on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and I'm positive we've been there before, and there was just a person laying on the
Yes,
bed.
that's why I thought it was, because I was like, we're walking past this bed and there's somebody laying there, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Because I very much remember when we went for Christmas, you were surrounded in plexiglass because of Rona.
Yeah.
And this was, 2020 or 2021, whichever it was. But yeah, this time when you walk in front of it, it's not an actor, it's a prop that's on the bed. The entire bed is lifted up by an actor that's underneath it. She lifts it up and then comes out. Yeah, so that was like a really cool, I guess prop.
Yeah.
Because the whole bed was just on a hinge. I've never really seen something where I'm like, that's inventive.
That was
cool.
very inventive.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
But there's a lot of, I think, what you expect to see in like haunted house theme. There was a cool like swamp kind of scene, because you eventually do go into a forest and a church.
Yes.
That was cool. Like a laser swamp with your half claustrophobia tunnel.
Yes, we like those.
And then you do get to the church, which probably has one of the creepiest things, because, which we'll talk about it more, but there is an actor that's dressed as a nun that, I don't know what she says, but then you turn the corner.
So I was leading, and I turned the corner, and I'm just like, okay, cool. So, you know how you get in some haunted houses, mostly slaughterhouses, you have bodies hanging from the ceiling, and you have to walk through them. They're just mannequins. You just move them around and stuff. These were nuns.
Yeah, a bunch of nuns.
Just a bunch of nuns hanging from the ceiling.
Hanging from on nooses. Yeah. Just hung nun.
No nuns.
And then at the very end, I think there was like a demon nun animatronic.
Yeah, she popped out.
So yeah, that was dark. You were just like, oh look,
yeah, that was
all
dark.
these hanging nuns. But yeah, and then that one ends, and you give your flashlight to someone, and then you go into the next one, which is just called Oblivion.
Yes, and this one was kind of like a hospital techno nightmare thing.
The theme is a little confusing.
It's very confusing.
I don't know what the backstory is. There's a lot of it begins with like a lot of mattresses that are like split, and you have to like push your way through the mattresses.
Yeah.
It's gross.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's gross.
It really reminded me of American Horror Story Hotel with the guy in the mattress. It just really freaked me out, because I was like, I don't want to open this because there's going to be somebody in here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, so it was pretty creepy. And then it's like a lot of like laser techno.
Yeah, after you push away through the
stuff.
mattresses, then there's like a beat that starts, and it's like a lot of like laser tunnels and like trippy lights, and there's a cool room. It's like a triangle, and there's like a triangle thing with like in the middle. It's kind of like a stage, I guess.
Yeah,
with like glass all around it, and there's like faces etched into the glass, it looks like, and of course there's an actor in there that like bangs on the things, but like this is like a cool like
it's kind of like it's kind of closing in on you and stuff, and they're kind of hovering above you and observing you, I guess. I do wish they did a little bit more of this. This is, I think, kind of the weakest of the themes. Like I do like it. I like the vibe. I like the music. It's kind of like a dance party. Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know. There wasn't enough actors or interaction there for it to be as good as it could have been. Yeah. But because I feel like this area, I mean, we'll talk more on actors, but it really needed more actors since there really wasn't any elaborate sets and props. It was just lights and like she said, like things hanging down from the ceiling and stuff. But and then you go into the final one, which is End of Days.
This one is kind of I'm not going to say necessarily zombies. Yeah. I want to say like maybe cannibalism, like maybe apocalyptic, where people are just kind of doing what they need to survive.
People are just crazed and violent and stuff,
Yeah. Because it seemed kind of like it was a mix of things.
And then they would like warn us about like, well, I guess that's more of the actors, but yeah. So we'll get there. But there's like a building with like a car crash through it. That's cool because you weave in and out. Like you are out on the outside, you go in the building to the other side of the cars actually crash through. Yeah. There's like a semi type of thing in there.
There was a semi, quite a few cars and stuff. You walk around like big barrels, and you're walking into like stores and things like that.
Yeah, it's kind of what you would expect from something like this, kind of like Raccoon City from Resident Evil vibes.
Yeah.
Kind of it's a lot like what Fear Columbus does. Not as elaborate as what Fear Columbus does, but it does have a similar feel. for what you're going for. But overall, the sets and props, I think, were pretty good here. I just kind of wish that second one was better. It's not bad, but it's just like, Sets and props, we gave them a 9.25 is what we gave sets and props this year. So now we will talk about actors.
All right, so the queue line, like we said before, you walk up and when we walked up, there was this, she was kind of just sitting. It was kind of weird because she was just kind of sitting like she was bored. She was just like this in this chair. And it's this bride, and she's just beautifully dressed, this big, huge gown and stuff. And she slowly makes her way around, and she comes up to us, and you think she's going to be like super elegant and beautiful and, whatever. And of course, she's kind of decaying a little bit, and then she starts talking to us in like this New York accent and talking about how it's her special day and she doesn't know where her husband went and we need to go find him, and she just keeps this whole thing up, and it's just funny. Hysterical, and she's just like, and like anytime we like, she would expect us to answer, and she's like, hello, it's my special day, and just remind us of that and stuff. And she was just a hoot. She was really, really into the character and stuff like that. Yeah,
she was really cool. When you first walk in, there's a real creepy guy that's not wearing a shirt, just like suspenders. He was pretty intimidating. And then the girl that popped up from the mattress, I do wish she was a little bit louder, because like, I should have got scared more by that mattress lifting up.
Yes.
But she kind of just stood there and then went back, and I'm like, man, if you would have like made like a row, like yelled or something as she came out, said something, it would have scared me. But instead, I just saw her. I'm like, oh. And that,
if ever a spot needed a boo pedal,
yeah,
probably that needed a boo pedal.
Because there was lights, and there was like a light sound, like or something, but it wasn't loud.
No.
Maybe it was supposed to be. I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, the girls in the swamp we were talking about, they were good, because you had to like walk around them, and they have like kind of a little stage in the middle too, where they talk. And one girl looked like she was like dressed as a plant. That was cool. Yeah, the nun that was like warning us.
Yeah, there was a one that was warning us, and then there was like an evil nun, kind of. Well, that was an animatronic.
Yeah, that one was animatronic. But there was, I don't know if it was a nun, but there was someone that took our flashlights, and she told all of us to have an unholy day or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, she was actually dressed kind of like a or what do they call them? The church boys. Altar boys. She was kind of dressed like that. She had like a little white dress on and stuff like that. Kind of dressed like a little bit holier than should be.
After that, you go into the Oblivion one, and there's like a doctor who has a whole spiel. I don't remember really what he said, but something about going to see his patients. I don't know.
Yeah, coming in for treatment and stuff like that.
And then there's the girl that like crawls on the ground when you first walk into the actual haunt.
Yeah, she was just crawling about. And
she came out of a mattress on the wall and was just like crawling on the floor.
It was creepy because, again, I thought someone was going to come out of the mattress, and sure enough, I pull a mattress away, and there's somebody coming out of a mattress.
Yeah. As we said, there weren't many actors in the Technoland, as I have it on here, in the Oblivion. There was like a mirror maze type of thing. It's not really a maze, but there's like a mirror hallway. And we saw a guy, and then he just like ran away, and he was gone. And I think it was someone different, maybe. But I'm like looking for him, like, where did he go? And then I turn, because I think I was last in this one. I like turned to look back to try and find him, and all of a sudden someone out of the darkness comes and honks a clown horn in my face. Scared the shit out of me.
He ran really quick, because he was in like, if you know how mirror mazes work, it's a lot of that Pepper's Ghost kind of thing, where you could stand in one spot and somebody can see you there, but you could be like over here and then come out and like scare somebody. Well, he initially had done that because he wasn't actually standing in front of us, and when I started to approach him, he was actually on the side. And when he ran off, because I followed him because I assumed that he was going off to where we needed to go, he just disappeared. And he got back in that spot, and he scared Josh, which was pretty funny.
And that was cool. There's the triangle room guy, like I mentioned. He didn't really do much, but he was in that stage with like the plexiglass that's in the middle. There's a cool circle room mine, which is actually something we didn't mention in sets and props, but there was a cool room, and this was in the Oblivion section, where there's a bunch of different doors, and he kind of misleads you. He doesn't speak, and he just is all acting like a mime and stuff. He was really cool. But like the one we went through, and it was just a bunch of sheet ghosts, and it took us back to another door. And then eventually we did find the one, and it's kind of funny because we didn't get the one scare, but he opens the door and he looks in there, and some like animatronic drops in the ceiling, and he kind of goes like,
yeah, I
like
did
that,
like the
he got
mime thing,
scared.
like, oh my gosh, you know. But
yeah, and he would like look at this door, and he'd be like, he was funny and real creepy. I liked it.
Yeah, it was really cool. Best use of a mime.
Yeah, best use of a mime. A special like award at our Haunt Awards. Best use of a mime. Scare House will win. Zombie cannibals. Kim liked the rat girl.
Yeah, there was a girl in the zombie whatever that was called that area, and she's like, we come around the corner and she's like, who wants some pneumonic plague? And I'm like, what? And I look, and she's got like a little snout, and she had ears, and then as she's like walking away, her tail just like whips around, and I'm like, she's a rat.
She's a rat.
She's a rat girl.
They were cool stilt walkers. I forget what they called them, but like they were like warn us about them. The other actors like would.
Oh yeah.
Like, watch out for the whatever they were called, and there was like these real creepy like stilt walking people in there. That was neat. They didn't have a lot of dialogue, the ones in the actual house, but there was a few that did, like the guy at the beginning, the rat girl. But they would follow you, and they were pretty creepy. I just wish there were more. Like I said, the second haunt was mainly dead space outside of one or two scares. But for actors, we gave them an 8.
So that moves us on to scare factor. Mostly the scares come from the actors.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of using, animatronics. They're mostly like the distraction.
Yeah.
For the actors to scare you.
Yeah, there weren't a ton of animatronics here.
Yeah, no. The Scare House usually doesn't have a lot of that. It's mostly like just set dressing, and they do rely mostly on actors.
Overall, there just was not enough actors. And a lot of the actors that were there didn't really try and scare you too much. Like, they don't touch, they didn't really get in your face too much, they didn't really have a jump scare. They were just kind of there.
Yeah.
Like the Swamp Girls, for example, they were cool, but they didn't really try to scare us. Like,
no.
There's two of them, they just kind of would say little things here and there.
Yeah, it almost seemed like the actors were trying to set the scene for somebody else that was going to scare you, but that somebody else wasn't there.
Right. I will say we were second to last group of the night.
Second to last.
Because somehow people caught up to us, even though, like, there was no one else in that place. Like, we walked right in. Thank God we didn't get fast pass because there was no one there. Like, there was no one there when we got there. We actually thought the mall might have closed down. We got mad because, like, we did get 15 minutes before they stopped letting people in.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that might be why. Some people might have just been going, like, home and stuff. I'm not sure, but there is a lot of gore, especially in the zombie-ish area, the end of days. The nun scene, of course, was freaky. But overall, this isn't a real high-intensity scare. There are some jump scares here and there, but, you can count on one hand the times you really get scared much, at least in our scenario.
Yeah.
I'm curious for other people that have been there, did you get a lot more scared? Did you find it more scary? But we went ahead and we gave it a 6.75. A little bit above average for scary, but overall, a little more tame.
Yeah. So that moves on to value. Now the price changes from depending on what day you're going for general admission. It starts at $19.99 and goes up to $26.99.
Yep. It's usually about an additional $11 to add the Fast Pass on. For $41.99, that's where it starts at. You get RIP. Now, what the difference is between that and Fast Pass is you typically have to choose a day and a time. RIP is good for any day at any time, so you just show up. You don't have to worry about a time. And it took about 15 minutes to get through.
It took about 15 minutes, yeah.
So, decent value. I don't really like the different day, different price thing. It gets a little confusing, and it's not super consumer friendly with how it works. And it's almost like Disney pricing, where it's like, the further you are in the year, it can be more expensive too.
Yeah.
But overall, decent value though. We gave it an 8.
So then that brings us to our overall score, and we gave them an 8.25.
Yeah, we do like it. We liked it quite a bit. We do wish the second haunt would just be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Be like something a little more unique in there than like a bunch of like laser hallways.
Yeah.
And the theme just didn't make too much sense. Like, I'm sure like there's an explanation for it, but as just a customer walking through, it's hard to understand exactly what you're seeing. Bunch of mattresses, then followed by like Technoland. Just a little strange. I assume you're like going into a nightmare. That's what I would imagine.
That's what I was thinking, but it just kind of like lost its story a little bit. Yeah,
I agree. But yeah, so have you been to Scare House? What do you think of it? Make sure you like and subscribe. Also, make sure you ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future upcoming videos. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.